Hey, hello, and first of all, I would like to thank you for the insane support on my previous Mythic Plus guide in Shadowlands. And as always, due to very high demand from at least these two nice people, I'm back with more red guides, but this time I'm making these in separate parts, and this one is going to be for the talents. So far, in this first week of Dragonflight's Mythic Plus, I've been playing way too much, and despite not having a team, I pushed World Rank 3 Red Paladin in the first couple of days, and since then I haven't really played due to some Christmas reasons. Now, if you came here just to copy a talent build, I'm gonna put the import string for this talent build in the description. You can just copy that and have fun. Alright, let's start with the Paladin tree. So the class tree. On the first row, we have Lay on Hands. This is really what separates the good reds from the bads. So bind this nicely and save some lives, save some keys with this one. Blessing of Freedom, you don't always need this one. I usually have it because there is a lot of slows and roots in these keys. So usually take this, but you can trade this out for something else if you want it. Hammer of Wrath you obviously always need. This is your so-called execute. And this aura you always play Retribution aura, so take this. You usually don't play Devotion aura or Concentration aura. Devotion aura you might need later in like hierarchies. You want to get all of the damage reduction that you can, but so far I haven't needed this, and I hope I don't need in future either. Because from Retribution aura you get free Seraphim procs, and every time someone dies you get free wings. And let's be honest, a lot of people die in those blood groups, so definitely play Retribution aura all the way. Fist of Justice, this one reduces your Hodge cooldown, your stun cooldown, based on how many holy powers you spend. And this really reduces your Hodge cooldown from like a minute to about 20 seconds, so this is huge for stopping stuff and stunning mobs. Divine Steed, obviously your only mobility, you want to take it, and you also need to take it to progress in this tree. But yeah, this is your mighty pony. Blinding Light, always take Blinding Light. It's AoE interrupt basically. Well, not, it doesn't interrupt like a kick does, but it stops the casts, and it's really good because it's AoE. The second option is Repentance, but you don't really need that almost ever. But sure, you can take it if you need it for some specific reason. But usually there is like a poly or a trap already in your group, and even those are really not used, to be honest. So Blinding Light all the way. This is your D-spell. It's not picked in my default spec, but you might need this quite often. Just ask your healer if you need it really, and then pick it if you do. Then we have 2 stacks for Divine Steed, very good, take it always. This is very optional. This is just 1 second extra for your pony, so you can just not take it and take like a dispel instead or whatever. The other option is also not great, so this you can just not take at all. Next is a must-have, Greater Judgment. You always want this on every spec. It's great. It increases your next holy power effect damage by 20%, so this is very good damage from this. You also don't want to use 2 judgments in a row, otherwise you waste the buff from this. This is your kick. Always take this for Mythic Plus and actually use it. Thank you. Turn Evil. This is fear, but just for undeads and demons and stuff, so you almost never take this. You might have some use for this, say in like Court of Stars, but I don't think so. So don't take this. Then here is your wings, obviously take the wings. This is some flat armor and crate, very good, especially for Mythic Plus. The armor gives you a little bit of defense right there. Next we have, this is healing from your consecration, not very good, especially not in a 5-man group, so never take this for Mythic Plus. In raids, this is actually an old conduit, and I never used this in raids either in Shadowlands, so I doubt that it's good now either. This basically buffs it a little bit, but that's already 2 talents spent here, so I don't think these are gonna be the way to go. This instead is nice extra healing from your judgment, and this heals party members as well. So when they hit the same target your judgment have hit, then they get heals. So this is actually a pretty nice heal right there, and it's passive, so you don't need to worry about it. Blessing of Sacrifice. Now we get to some utility stuff that some guides for whatever reason are leaving out, and I don't understand that, because if you play a red pally you need to support your team and use this utility and heal stuff. So always take Sacrifice and use it when it's needed, especially if you are in a pre-made group where you're on Discord. You can get some very nice value out of this if you communicate with your tank and your healer. I usually use this with my bubble to get like the maximum value out of the bubble. I use this on my tank. If you don't have bubble when you use this, you might want to let your healer know, because then they might need to heal you a little bit extra. But this is especially in higher keys, this is a big like external cooldown for your tank, and it's great. With this talent you can reduce its cooldown to 1 minute, but I don't find that necessary. Usually you don't need to use it that often. Say if you use it with the bubble, then you definitely can't use it every minute, so this is a bit too often for me. Pallies are paper, like I said, so you're already in danger. You don't want to use it if you don't have to, or if you're not sure that you are safe yourself. So don't need reduced cooldown on this one. And then the second option here is very small damage from the sack basically, so that's kind of useless as well. It's less than 1% of your damage overall in Mythic Plus, even if you use it for damage, like if you use your sacrifice for damage, and you shouldn't do that anyway, so yeah, that's not good either. And again, some other guys are taking it, but I really don't like it. Next is Bop, obviously another great utility button here. Always take Bop and use it on people. I even take usually the cooldown reduction on Bop, because if you're ripping aggro from your tank, then you can bop yourself more often when you're popping your damage cooldowns, and you will level. Yeah, so take Bop, and this is kind of optional if you want reduced cooldown on it. You can take that too. This is just flat damage increase, single target. It's not huge, it's actually very small, so I usually don't take this. I picked the utility and heal options instead, but this is not bad either, especially for single target like Tyrannical Weeks. I might take this as well, but yeah, it's so small that I wouldn't take it for fortified weeks at least. On this row we got some more AoE damage here actually, so I always take this one. This is good for Mythic Plus. Definitely take this for AoE damage. Then reduced cooldown on your bubble and lay on hands. This is great. Bubble is awesome, so you want to reduce the cooldown on that. Always take this one for sure. Here you got some more healing for your Word of Glory. So when you use Word of Glory, you sometimes heal another target with that. So I quite like this. I sometimes do some big clutch Word of Glories, and it's always nice if it heals the second target as well. This one I also would very much like to have. You can spend 2 talents here, but I would only put 1. But right now I'm not even doing that because it's on the last section here. As you can see below this line, that means that you would have to trade one of these talents for it basically. And that means you would lose so much that it's just not worth it. But this would make your Word of Glory even a little bit bigger. And cheaper, but sadly we can't really take it because we can't trade any of these other talents for it. So I would like to see this talent on like this mid section here, and then I would definitely take it. And from this you just get some strength basically, so definitely take this. You also needed to progress again in this tree. Divine Purpose, always take this. This is huge. The second option is Holy Avenger, but it's 3-minute cooldown, so I find it quite awkward. You can't always pair it with your wings, so I like the Divine Purpose way more. I don't know a lot of people who would play Holy Avenger anyway. Maybe if you really need to stack a lot of damage on like short window, then you maybe want to take this and then use it with the wings. Say like if a boss is specifically hard, then you could take this one. But 99% of the time, just Divine Purpose. Now this is another talent I really love. I would like to have this every time, but it's the same deal here. You just lose so much from taking it. So I don't take it usually if I don't have to. But lately in 16s and above, I feel like I'm dying. So I've actually done this. I've traded 2% haste, which really hurts, for this 2% avoidance and speed. But yeah, this is what I'm rocking right now, and yeah, feels kind of bad. Next we have 10% damage for Consecration. This is very big as well for Mythic Plus. Your Consecration is doing way more damage now than it used to, so definitely always take this. We are not going this route really. The other two are just better, so ignore these. This would be nice, I guess, just flat more holy damage, but yeah, we're not going this way, so skip these two. Then yeah, 1 or 2 into this haste increase, especially now that people are low geared. These flat stats really feel good. But yeah, next is basically the same, but for only when you're popping wings, and it's mastery. Kinda huge, yeah, just take it. Next we have Of Dusk and Dawn. Basically how this works is you get a damage buff when you reach 5 holy power. You get a damage taken reduction when you are 0 holy power. The buff lasts for 20 seconds. Seal of Order right here just basically enhances the effect. So if you're about to take some damage, say on a boss, you wanna go 0 holy power before that, and you wanna go full holy power before you pop that push. I mean, Swifty one-shot macro for the damage buff. Last but not least, we got Seraphim. You should always play this. Use this with your burst and also with your 1-minute burst. It is an extra button though, so if you feel like it, you can definitely go Sanctified Wrath. It's passive, it's gonna make things easier and stuff. You can definitely play this. I played this like the first day a little bit, and then I went to Seraphim because it's actually a little bit better, but makes it more difficult. Now let's move on to the Retri Tree. Starting off with the Blade of Justice. Obviously Divine Storm, you of course take. Art of War procs are huge. Then there's some Judgment talents on the left side here. These ones I'm not picking for Mythic Plus. These are great for PvP, but we just can't afford taking these, so we don't take those. 2 charges for Crusade Strike is huge, because you want to proc the Empyrean powers, so take that one. Then Mastery, obviously 2% Mastery is huge, but I'm gonna explain you later why I'm not taking this right now actually. And someone might disagree definitely, but yeah, I'll explain that later. Blade of Justice generates 1 extra holy power, very good. Also on the right hand side there is some Blade of Justice talents, and it's the same thing with these as it is with the judgments. We can't afford to take this, and these are mainly like single target damage anyway, so I'm not taking any of these. However, this one, Blade of Wrath, I do take. It's huge. It resets the Blade of Justice cooldown sometimes for more holy power. For this main defensive talent here, I usually take Shield of Vengeance, especially in the lower keys. It's enough to save me from whatever ability. On the higher keys, like right now 16s and above, I did take this for a couple of dungeons, and it seems kinda good. Oh shit. Alright. Yeah, so Shield of Vengeance mostly, maybe the wall if you need it. Empyrean Power, huge, always take this for Mythic Plus, gives you AoE damage. So 3 Divine Storms when you use Crusader Strike. This is what also makes your Crusader Strike kinda better than the other gainers in AoE. So if you get those Divine Storm procs when you're popping cooldowns, that's huge. Like I said, we skip these Judgment talents. We're also not speccing into Templar's Verdict, so we skip this. However, we are speccing into Divine Storms and Consecration, so we take this for sure. Always take Wake of Ash for any content, no matter what. This one makes it so that when you proc Blade of Justice, when you proc Art of War and you use Blade of Justice, you drop a Consecration on the target. And also, this doesn't remove your actual Consecration that you use yourself. This just stacks on it. And all the Consecrations from this talent keep on stacking. So you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, keep in mind that if you proc the Consecration from this, you still want to press your Consecration to drop that too. Here is some more nice Judgment damage that we are not taking. Blade of Justice stuff, no thank you. Skip. Zeal is very nice, makes you hit faster. And that's gonna proc your Art of Wars more, so you want a Zeal every time. Also the damage bonus on this is not bad. This is just gonna make your Wake of Ash, aka your Radiant Decree, make more damage. And my Radiant Decree is usually like second on my damage, so I always take this, definitely just flat out more AoE damage. Crusade, I don't like playing it, but I do, because it's better right now. It gives you haste, and haste gives you more Art of War procs, because you hit faster. Also lowers your cooldown on some of your key abilities, so it's just better, even though it's a little bit more boring to use. Crusade usually makes it so that you can't bind your unused trinket or your stat potion or whatever on your wings. You wanna get the stacks from the Crusade first and then buff those. Kinda annoying, but it's very good right now. Yeah, Radiant Decree here makes more damage than the Wake of Ash, so even though it consumes 3 holy power instead of gaining you 3 holy power, it's still the better pick. I'm gonna do some experimenting with just the the Wake of Ash option here, which basically means that your Art of War has a chance to reset your cooldown on the Wake of Ash. I'm gonna test that too, because that helps you build the Crusade stacks faster, right? So it sounds kind of tempting. And also the Wake of Ash damage is not bad either. But for right now, just go with Radiant Decree for sure. Sanctification gives you holy power, pretty simple, and you want this to move forward in the tree as well. A lot of the guides suggest for you to take this slow, but I don't see a lot of situations where you need a single target slow in Mythic Pluses, because your group already has one very likely. But if you need this for whatever reason, then sure, take it. But I prefer this AoE slow instead, which also makes your consecration bigger, so that's gonna sometimes hit more targets. So this might actually increase your damage as well, instead of this kinda useless single target slow. Even though it is 70%, so it's kinda huge. I always have this for PvP. Exorcism is also recommended in most guides, but I hate using this ability, and I'm sure most Pallies hate using this. It doesn't generate holy power or nothing, it's just an extra button that you have to press, which also makes your rotation kinda awkward and slow. Also in lower keys, the trash, even on Fortified, usually die too fast, so you might not get the full value out of this. For 16s and stuff, I might move back to this for experimenting at least. But yeah, on any lower keys it's doing like 3% of my damage, or maybe less even, and you have to use it on a target that is affected by consecration right now. The other targets around it doesn't need to be, but the main target has to be in your consecration in order to spread this on the other targets. So yeah, I don't like this, it's awkward as hell. This one is a big one. Like, most other guides are not picking anything here at all, but if you're not taking this and you're playing Red Pally, then I don't know. Here is a quick guide for you. You go to your character selection, you delete your paladin, then click create new character, choose a warrior, and type down a name. If you can even read or write, since this whole time you've actually been a warrior main. Now, Tempest of the Lightbringer. This is very good. Makes your Divine Storm burst out another mini Divine Storm. Just be careful not to pull extra packs with this, because it might travel quite far and then pull something you don't want to get. Now, this is actually something I've recently started playing with, and this is the reason why I didn't pick the Mastery right here. So this is what I might do now. For a lot of extra healing, self-healing, you could take Justicar's Vengeance. In hierarchies, you need that off healing. You need anything defensive you can get, because red pallies are paper. You could also take the other option, which is Eye for an Eye, if the damage you need to avoid is physical, but only if it's physical. In any other case, shit again. In any other case, I would take this and just self-heal like crazy. Your healer is gonna tank you for sure. You stay alive, which is a damage bonus. And also, since we are not taking any of the Templar's Verdict talents here, this actually hits a little bit harder than Templar's Verdict, so this is actually a single target damage buff. But you can't fully delete your Templar's Verdict, because you have to use your Empyrean Legacy procs, so you still need an extra bind for this. But for lower keys, and if you're still living just fine, I wouldn't take this. Take the mastery instead, because it's huge as well. But you just might have to go for this later. And this is what I'm running right now. Then we got some more Templar's Verdict talents here. We don't go for these. Final Verdict is nice for PvP, but you don't even play it for that right now, I think. Yeah, obviously you can't take these if you don't take the previous ones. And then here you got some Seraphim procs, which is nice. You take this also for progressing in this tree, but who doesn't like Seraphim procs? Then here you just get some haste, flat out haste, which is huge. Like I said before, you get Art of War procs, and especially now with low gear, all of these stat talents are huge right now. Then we're not going for the Executing Sentence. Sounds a little bit tempting with the AoE bursts from it, but it's not that good right now, sadly. Executing Sentence is quite fun to play, but it's not worth it right now with the other two options here being so big. Next we take Divine Toll, and then Divine Resonance. Divine Toll is the same as in Shadowlands pretty much. It just throws around some judgments on 1 minute cooldown. This is a key for your 1 minute burst. And then Divine Resonance is gonna basically keep proccing some judgments. And those judgments also give you this greater judgment buff. So you might want to track those to do more damage with your spender then. Next, Imperium Legacy. This is a huge talent. It's a 30-second cooldown basically on this proc though. And something you want to keep in mind is when you go do your burst, you don't wanna spend this proc before you have popped your cooldowns. So when you're building Crusade stacks, try to use other spenders to build it, and then save this proc for the actual burst. Yeah. Virtuous Command is the same as it was in Shadowlands, the Conduit, but this is a little bit weaker than the Conduit. But it's still good damage, and you need it to take Final Reckoning, which is another huge talent for your 1 minute burst. Always take these two for Mythic Plus. Another thing to mention is definitely Mythic Plus subscription website. I'm gonna leave a link for that as well. It's a great way to find out what other Red Pallies or whatever class you're playing are playing right now. So if you're feeling lazy, you can just copy their stuff, and that usually works pretty well. I use this website a lot, and yeah, it's great. Don't go to the melee section on the rankings, because you might end up crying, because red is always in the C tier. Just a little warning. And don't forget to follow to support me. That doesn't cost anything. Thank you very much. Bye.